Hello everybody, welcome to Wargame Strategies and Tactics. My name is Trailmaker. If you missed the episode last week, definitely watch it. It's a short one. It covers the primary and most basic fundamentals of Recon and Counter-Recon. This episode will deal with the functions of Recon and what they do. Now, Recons come in many subcategories, and each has its own function and position. After watching this video, seeing all the recons and all their functions, you might feel as though all of these are necessary. However, not every deck will be able to do everything. So in this regard, you will be relying on your teammates to fill in any gaps you are missing. Now, in the most basic way, there are three categories of recon. Recon Infantry, Recon Vehicles, and Recon Helicopters. These three categories split up into their own. Recon Infantry generally have higher stealth values than average recon units. The trade-off is that they are exceptionally slow moving once deployed and will die very easily if spotted. As another plus, they are one of the two unit types that can recon mountains. Recon Infantry can be classified in terms of two categories. They have the Recon Squad and the Recon Team. Their function is exactly the same. The difference between these is that Recon Teams are two-man teams, while Recon Squads are five-man squads. Squads have an extra weapon and slightly more survivability. Special reconnaissance teams are often underpowered in terms of their weaponry and survivability, but they make up with this in terms of their exceptional optics. They are more often deployed in places the enemy would never think to look, and will rarely ever move in the open unless they want to get splashed. Because of this, they tend to want to stay in cover and call in air and artillery support on any target they spot, instead of engaging them themselves. Some examples of these recon specialists include the BGS, the Fernspur, the Green Jacket, and the Navy SEALs. Recon vehicles come in many forms and many categories. They can be split up as light recon vehicles, anti-recon vehicles, and amphibious recons. Light recon vehicles are lightly armored and have either no or few weapons. They are the cheapest recons in the game to deploy. Because of this cost effectiveness, they are for covering large open flanks against sneak attacks. Some examples of this recon include the ILTIS AUFK, the K1111, and the Rover. Another word for the anti-recon vehicle is a defensive recon. These recons are heavily armored vehicles or tanks that have the most powerful of recon weapons capable of taking out enemy vehicles and unfortified infantry. They are useful sitting with your army behind your lines to stop the enemy from deploying recons of their own, and this can also spot for approaching armies. Without a spotter for approaches, you will not be able to attack with the effective range of your anti-tank weapons and tanks. In pushes, it is common to move with one of these recons behind your tanks to provide vision against defenses. There are a huge variety of defensive recons in the game. A few examples of them include the LOV 25 Scout, the AML 90, the BRM 1K, and the M8 Panzer build. Amphibious recons are able to travel across rivers. This means they will be able to get behind enemy lines when that line happens to be a river. They are equipped with a gun, so they will be able to remove any enemy Recon Infantry or light Recon Vehicles. Some examples of the Amphibious Recon include the BRDM-1, the OT-65, and the SPPZ Lukes. In the air are the Helicopter Recons. Helicopter Recons come in many variants with many loadouts. Looking at just a few, the Longbow is equipped with a Hellfire rocket, which means that it can deal with tanks pretty easily. The Mi-2 has rocket pods. The OH-1 Ninja has anti-air weapons. You're looking at a huge variety of helicopters here. Without going too deep into all of their functions, at a very basic level, a helicopter without any weapons is purely for recon and spotting, and one with weapons is for spotting and adding a little bit of damage. Helos, when airborne, will provide their maximum benefit of recon. Helicopter recons have the ability to see over obstructions, something that the other recon units cannot do. When they are at low altitude, they no longer gain the ability to see over obstructions, and their optics are reduced. Helicopters have to worry about being attacked in the air by anti-air weapons, and when landed, by ground weapons. Air superiority fighters have insanely high vision of things in the air. When a helo is landed, they are less likely to be spotted and targeted by these air superiority fighters. But, once again, that makes them vulnerable to land-based approaches. Recon is essential to a winning team. Having just one player on a 10-man team with a motorized deck can be invaluable. A good player will be able to position their recons effectively. An amazing player will always have them actively scouting the enemy's position while keeping them alive.